In New Mexico's Boot Heel, we not only find water and snow, but big views, solitude, and history. I had heard of the Gila River Wilderness, but had passed it up many times for the bigger mountains to the north. Turns out, we would be humbled by the beauty and adventure here. Land of Enchantment, as they call it, would be an understatement. All right, we're starting on the grand adventure, 3 nights in the Gila River Wilderness. Here we go. So why did we pick the Gila River Wilderness when it obviously doesn't pack the visual punch of the Rockies or Cascades or Sierra Nevada? And it's because it's different. It's an environment we're not used to hiking in. And to me, sometimes hiking in a new landscape is just as good as hiking in a really beautiful one. A brutal landscape, hot and dry, peppered with prickly pear and yucca. But within a few miles, a transformation. A softer landscape dominated by grasses and ponderosa pine and quietude. Our 4-day loop hike would lead us across desert, through pine savannas, and along dry riverbeds. And that was just the first day. Not with the chicken.
I don't think I've had the mountain house pad thai.
Chilly morning. Boy, it got cold last night. It was down to 26 degrees according to my thermometer. But we survived. The landscape is lighting up. The ponderosas are starting to pop with color. And we are excited about the day ahead. The challenging part about the second day is the lack of water. We followed Little Creek for miles. Creek is a bit of a misnomer, as the water, having percolated underground, isn't accessible. I find the best hikes are the ones that don't necessarily have, big mountains in your face the entire time, but more often the trails that go through kind of a variety of terrains. That's what this trail has done. It started out in scrub brush and then worked its way into a ponderosa forest and then dipped down into a floodplain. We hiked along an arroyo for quite a while, and now it seems to be sort of climbing back up onto a bluff, and then ultimately today leading us to the highest part of the trip, up on top of a pass. Eventually, we find a trickle and fill up. And to our surprise, as we close in on the source, the volume grows. An unexpected oasis emerges. Snow greets us on the steep ascent to the pass. just made it to the high point of the trip. I think it's around 8,500 feet. Pretty tuckered out. That was a heck of a climb. I think somebody's ready for a nap. The occasional cairn leads us in the right direction, but the trail fades in and out of existence. It turns to night. We sweep our headlights back and forth, straining to follow the trail, and eventually reach our campsite. Morning of day 3. We did a 15-mile day yesterday. Had some route finding issues later in the evening. The trail went across, sort of went through like a pine savanna, and the trail kind of braided in places and disappeared in others. But we found our way and had a great night's sleep. And you know, the theme of this trip, it's sort of been changing terrain, and today it's going to be the biggest, most dramatic change as we transition from the sort of the mountainous areas in Savannah to the river. We're going to be walking down the river canyon now, the West Fork of the Gila River. Just transitioned to water shoes. I took the temperature of the water. It's 41 degrees. It's gonna hurt. The only thing distracting us from our cold, wet feet is the views into the West Fork of the Gila River. Each day brings bigger views, and we pay for them in river crossings. 60 over the course of the final 2 days. Crossing number 4. Crossing number 12. Number 29. I think you could be forgiven for getting annoyed at all the river crossings, but it's part of the deal you make when coming here if you want to see this terrain. The fantastical shapes pull our gaze upward. Water, it seems, isn't the only thing slowing us down. We're rejoicing. It's the first bit of sun in a while. We've been walking through that canyon with just intermittent spots of sun, and this is like finally thawing us out. We're rising out of the canyon for the first time today. I think we were getting kind of tired of those river crossings. Although the biggest formations are behind us, the geology and landscape continue to evolve. Despite my exhaustion, I forced myself to stay up, transfixed on the immensity of the sky. With no light pollution, the stars shine brightly as ever. All right, time to put on frozen shoes.
It's like, this one's worse.
Our final day we've made was at 25 water crossings already. Our feet are soaking. They're soaked, that's not a word. They're soaked and frozen. Man, but we were talking, this place absolutely smashed our expectations. We saw our first people about a quarter mile back, first people in 4 days. And we've got just a few miles left. Looks like we're kind of leaving the main canyon finally and about to go see some cliff dwellings. The scenery over the last several days had been awe-inspiring, but what we were about to see at the end of the hike would inspire something different. A sense of reverence, as well as questions about the way the past inhabitants had carved out an existence here. Then mysteriously vanished. On this journey, we had no water, then too much, while being drawn into a rich landscape that shattered our expectations at every turn. If a spot on a map near the boot heel of New Mexico can offer this level of surprise and wonder, it's time to search for other passed-over places. Enchantment, after all, isn't always where you expect to find it.